Hey everyone, welcome back to the morning after. We are in studio with entrepreneur, dating, and relationships expert who is constantly going viral for just giving it to everyone straight, which I love. Sabrina Zohar of the Sabrina Zohar Show. Welcome.
Hi guys.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So the way we start this, we're going to start right out the back, and it's a lot.
Well, it's a lot. I was saying the one that sticks out is like, it's a lot. Just the sad things I see on the internet and the hate and the negativity. There's so much beauty. Don't get me wrong. Like there are so many amazing people, but it just, sometimes you open it and you're like, not choosing violence today. I'd have to get off and I have to, it's too much.
Is it like the comments, the DM? It's everything?
It's the comments. The DMs are a lot like people are a lot less ballsy to message you directly.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, I think that is really interesting.
Like, oh, you want everyone to know you're an asshole, but you won't privately be one?
No. And or I get the like, you speak too fast, you need to change. And I'm like, oh, that's why you're single.
Yeah.
Because you're expecting other people to change who they are because you just don't like it.
God, right off the bat, some relationship advice that I love.
And I just realized you probably get all of that, like, incel sort of behavior hate.
I get a lot of the red pill. I get a lot of, like, I was wearing a tank the other day and someone in my live was like, why would anyone take dating advice from a slut wearing that? And I was like, oh. It was like a thick tank top. And I was like, great, we're going to just block you. There's There's a discomfort when you trigger people. When you say things that get to the core, they will attack. And typically speaking, when you think psychologically, when someone attacks you for your age, the way you look, anything physical about you, it's because they've already lost. You're talking about material that's uncomfortable for them. That's one thing. And I have all the space in the world if people say, I don't like that. But to then attack the person, they're just projecting their insecurities onto you, which is why I just blocked and blessed.
Oh, I blocked and blessed. I mean, honestly, I should start doing that more. Because you said age. I remember after I went to the SPs with my husband and everyone was like, well, he's aged great, but why does she look like the grandmother? I was like,
I'll get bent.
But I was. And I even told you about it. I was like, I don't want to go anywhere anymore because I just, and you try not to look and whatnot. And that was actually the Rams were, I think, just trying to post and be sweet. And I wanted to be like, please don't post me anymore because it just gets hated on.
I know, and when it's someone else's account, you can't go in there and moderate the comments. So they're just
and I think
there.
they probably tried, but it just kept going.
I was going to say, there's sometimes, like I've had that where videos where I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel, right? Like I have to remove myself, especially when it's pop culture, when it's something really like, I used to get ripped a new one when I would talk about texting and dating. I was one of the first creators on TikTok to change the echo chamber.
I need you to get into this because Kelly's going to agree.
Okay.
Tell me.
I was the poster child for that anxious, and we're going to talk about attachment styles and all that, but I was highly anxious. Like I couldn't sit still if someone didn't text me morning or night. I was assuming you don't text me, that means you don't like me. And so then when I met my current partner and I realized like, wait a minute, you can absolutely have a beautiful relationship forming without having to text somebody every single day. Yeah. So I started to create content of like, hey, just because the guy or the girl that you're dating doesn't text you every day doesn't mean they don't like you. And of course I got inundated with like, if they wanted to, they would. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going black and white thinking. And just this volatility towards, no, you're being a pick-me, you're just taking what you can get. And it's like, let me ask you a question. How's your dating life if you're focusing on texting all the time? And how's your anxiety doing? What's the story you're telling yourself?
Yeah. I honestly, I hate texting. I've hated it since it's come out. I am very like, I need to talk to someone in person, to see them, to, just like connect. And I feel like you cannot do that through text. Also, texts are read wrong. Mm-hmm. You can't write okay. God forbid you write okay in a text.
God forbid you like something and not heart it.
I mean, like and I'm going, what world are we living in? And it's very well known that like, if you need me, you FaceTime me.
100%.
Like I haven't dated in a long time. Well, that's not true. I try and date my husband, but no first dates or anything like that in quite a while. But I could imagine, I don't know how I would be in this new generation of, I think I would struggle with it going on a date and not hearing from someone. I'd be like, fuck, I'm cool. Like, you should be texting me. Why are you not? So I think it's really interesting. But I think you're absolutely right in the fact that, like, honestly, there'll be times when Matthew texts me and I'll look at it and I'm like, all right, I'll get back to you.
Same. I've got like 6 messages I've read and I'm like, I'll get back. And I forget.
And
because I'm a human.
Forget.
I'm a human. I get in the car, my mom calls, and then later I'm like, oh, garbage. I forgot to text this person.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. What you're describing is really human. And that's what I want to normalize. It's like having anxiety in dating is totally normal. To your point, why aren't they calling me? What's going on? But when we start to ask, why aren't they calling me? Why don't they like me? Then what you're doing is you're self-abandoning, hoping that they're going to get chosen. And then we try to understand their behavior to diminish us to experience the pain that we're in. Because what's the pain? You just said it. I'm really awesome. Why why aren't you calling me? And that's okay, right? Of course, we all are our own cheerleader. I am such a baddie, and I know that. But instead of us looking and going, oh, I don't like that behavior. This person made a great connection, and they dropped the ball. I'm not interested in that. We internalize it, and we become, so it's something called hypervigilant. And hypervigilance is when if you have anxiety, you had a caregiver that was inconsistent, you didn't know what was going to happen, you'd start to create something called hypervigilance, where you start to look at facial expressions. And they put a period, but they didn't put a smiley face. They did. Your body is constantly scanning for danger to affirm, see, you're not safe. I knew it. Oh, wow. So that's why when they don't text and you start to create this narrative, they didn't like me, they didn't want to see me again. And then they might text you the next day and you're like, hee hee.
Yeah,
just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, you forget about it.
Because we're filling in the blanks with our self-esteem and our insecurities. Because when you're secure within yourself, you can hold those conflicting thoughts of like, I'm allowed to be bummed. I thought we had a great time, but I'm not going to make this about me.
Not to mention, if you're not feeling those lows from being like disappointed that you're not getting a text, and you're not getting those highs from when you receive the text, I'm sure like you've talked about this before. It's that the dopamine hits, right, of getting a text message.
So there's a part of our brain called the habanella, and the habanella is where we process, I think I say it right, I always botch this, but I'm like, that's what it is now.
We don't know.
The habanella. It's the part of your brain where you process disappointment. And that's also the part of your brain where dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine get processed. So when you get broken up, when you have ambiguity, you have confusion, your prefrontal cortex shuts off. It's not as easily accessible. It's still there, but you can't access the common thinking. So you'll go back to the amygdala or the habanella, those different parts of your brain where we hold on to fear, overthinking, spiraling, and then cortisol spikes, your neurotransmitters get depleted. That's why we get on loops. And we get on loops, and then we have a part of our brain called the salience network that's going to look. So if I say, no one ever likes me, no one calls me back, no one wants to be with me. So I'm going through, I'm stressed, I am having none of this excitement. Yeah. And then my brain's going, no one likes her, no one wants to see her. Great, go find that. Go find that. You look for a red car, say, I'm going to go buy a Volvo. All of a sudden you notice, you're like, wow, does everyone have a Volvo, or is it just me? That's the salience network. Okay. So when you believe that about yourself, you're constantly looking for proof to reaffirm that to you. There it is. The texting is the quickest. So if we can regulate, come back to the present moment and be like, well, okay, what facts do I have to back this thought up? The story I created is they don't like me and no one's going to ever want me. Okay, well, I had one date with this person. That's probably not the facts. Yeah. Then we can understand, like, oh, okay, what part of me needed this, and how old do I feel? Like, you can start to understand the root cause, which is, I don't want to be abandoned, and I'm scared no one's going to love me. Okay, so it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, and of course, this is the case in dating, but, I'm thinking about you, and I'm thinking of all of our listeners that are in relationships. Yeah. Like, I mean, this can happen with your significant other, even if you've been together for a long time. If you're looking for a problem, you will find one, right?
100%. I've seen that all the time. I mean, sometimes you're like, I went through my partner's phone, and you're like, you'll find something.
You're for sure going to find something.
You'll find something on my phone because I text my mama something.
Yeah. That probably doesn't even mean what you think it means. No. You're going to find something.
It has no tone. Text has no tone.
Oh, that's why I can't do it. I hate it.
To your point. No, it's true. Like, how many emails we've got, and then you call the person, and they're so sweet, and you're like, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And that happened. We did a party for the podcast, and we thought the guy was so rude. And we were like, why is he being so mean? And then my manager called, and she's like, this is one of the nicest people I've ever met. She's like, he is the sweetest thing. And he was just saying, he was like, oh, yeah, sorry, I was in a rush when I was typing it.
Turns out that's usually what it is.
Very
or
real.
It's a man. And they just, you know what, to me, the okay is okay with a man. When Matthew's texting me on my phone, I'm like, okay, you can write okay, but write like an exclamation point or like a smiley. Like, to your point, because we're feeding what we know, like, honestly, women in my like world that I live in, women are they need that a little more emotional, a little more like, I'm excited to see you. Okay, I'll see you at 8 with an exclamation point, and not like okay,
right.
But a guy would send that, and it would be totally fine.
And you have every right to communicate. So that's called meta-communication. And so Charles Duhigg, I love him. He's a communication specialist, and he talk about the communication you want to have with that person. So communicate about your communication. So like when my boyfriend and I first met, he is not a texter. He hates it. That's not his thing. Like, he made the plan, and then I didn't hear from him for 2 days, and I was like, oh. And then he confirmed. I'm like, okay, it's different. Maybe after like 10 dates, I said, hey. I texted him and I was like, hope you have a great day. And I said, I really love more texting in between our dates to feel more connected. Is that something you're willing to do? And then he wrote me back and he was like, hey, so good to hear from you. The short answer is no, but let me explain. And he was like, I work in tech. I stare at a computer for 9 hours. The last thing I want to do is pull out a mini computer in my hand and start to connect with you when I'd much rather just see you face to face and have more connection in person. If you're down, let's have a standing date night. I'm happy to FaceTime or call you, but I don't want to get into a text relationship, and I respect whatever decision you make.
Oh my gosh, did he say all of that?
All of it. That's like, really I have the text, and I just looked and I was like, okay. Right? We communicated about what we needed. So then he knew, okay, I'll call her or FaceTime her instead of text. And then I felt seen, heard, and understood, and we were able to move on.
Do you ever, because I'm like trying to put myself even in these shoes before my husband, like sometimes I felt when I would ask for certain things, like I was nagging someone. Is that a me thing or is that a them thing?
I think it's a yes and, right? So I think there's the one aspect, like I've asked my partner things and it's, and you're like, hey, what's with the attitude? Like if you're having an issue, just come and tell me, hey, I'm frustrated. It's not with you. I apologize if I'm taking that out on you. Or I'm in a bad mood. I'm offline. Can we talk later? There's a way to communicate like an adult.
All my girls, sorry. This is like communication with my girls. Ugh. Sorry. All right, continue.
No, it's fine. And you're like teenagers.
Yeah, they're not. They're 8. They're 8 and younger, but here we are.
About to be, right?
Yeah, about to be.
But so it's like there's that aspect. Then we have to look and say, okay, what are my core beliefs? So if I said, hey, can we do something Saturday? And they're like, sure, I'll let you know. And if I'm like, oh, I'm bothering them again. You're like, wait a minute. Okay, what core beliefs am I reaffirming by that? What facts do I have to back it up? If I say, well, when I said it, they told me they rolled their eyes at me and were rude, that's a fact to back up that they were disrespectful. And it wasn't that my needs were too much. They didn't have the bandwidth to satisfy that need. Versus if I say something and I'm harping on my partner and he's like, oh my God, you told me 7 times. And I'm like, all right, I'm nagging. I'm sorry. It's my anxiety. I'm unsure. I want you to get it done because I'm uncomfortable. So we have to get curious with ourselves of like, wait a minute, if I just said something to you and you were like, God, Sabrina, again? I'm like, whoa, this is the first time I've asked you. Then we can talk about it of like what's coming up for you that felt disrespectful to me versus, hey, I feel like a nag when I ask you to take the garbage out, but I think the issue is the fact that I don't feel heard. Can we talk about that? That's a core wound for me. What's under the I feel like a nag?
Yeah. No,
It's valid.
like not being heard is huge. I mean, I feel like that's big in all relationships. People not feeling heard or respected, I think that's really big. I mean, I know it's big in my home. Yeah. My husband wants to feel respected, and I want to do that for him. Obviously, I love him so much. We mentioned it on the podcast the other day, but we kind of got in a little fight because I was on the girls, and then I kind of spoke to him the way I was speaking to them, and he was like, and I'd done it a few times. I didn't realize I was doing it, but he brought it up to me a little later than he should have because it kind of festered. But it was very much like, hey, I just need you to talk to me in like a better manner, like in a way that you love me.
That takes a lot of strength for both of you. For you to admit, hey, I'm so sorry. You're right. I wasn't right. I snapped at you and that's on me. I apologize. And for him to say, I'm scared to say this to you because I don't want you to think, right? I think it's scary for people to have those hard conversations because you're like, I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want them to run away. But both of you guys know, and if you don't have those conversations, you're not going to have the depth and the real relationship you could require.
Oh, and I feel like it's gone. Like if you can't communicate, I just don't think right? Like no relationship's done. I love Haya vitamins for my kids because one, I know they're actually getting what they need out of these vitamins and not all the sugar and junk that are in all the other kids' vitamins. And why do they put that in other kids' vitamins? Well, it makes it taste good. But Haya has found a way to do that without adding any of the crap, guys. And not only that, they just have everything good in them. A blend of 12 organic fruits and vegetables, supercharged with 15 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin D, B12C, zinc, folate, and many others to support all the things your kids need. We all have gaps in our diets. We always look up what's good for us in supplements. You should be doing the same for your children. Haya vitamins have been an incredible addition to our family over the past year. So we've worked out a special deal with Haya for their best-selling children's vitamin. You can receive 50% off your first order. To claim this deal, you must go to hayahealth.com/morning. Guys, it's not available on the regular website. So you can't go to their website and find it. You have to go to hayahealth.com/morning. It's HIYAHEALTH.com/morning. Again, if you guys want to get your kids vitamins that are actually doing them a service instead of a disservice, look into Haya, and it's hayahealth.com/morning to get those kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into the healthy adults.
This is a great opportunity for you to introduce the concept of IFS, if you don't mind, because I mean, just listening to you, knowing you really well, and hearing kind of what you were just saying of like what core wound is there. We talk a lot about on the show about your birth order and your immediate family growing up, and how you didn't feel heard. You were left behind.
I was.
And
love you so much, Mom.
I'm like connecting, not to therapize you and like step in if I am.
No, please.
But that feels like maybe that's the core, hitting a core wound for you is like you weren't listened to growing up. If you're not listened to in your house now and you're the adult and you're trying to see them better than you were seen, and you know, that's all of us, right? We're all trying to correct what our parents did. Let's get into how do your family affects how you date and how you're in relationships now.
So there's different, like there's therapy, when you go to school for therapy, you go to school and you learn theory, right? And then you go and take extra like CBT, DBT, IFS. So there are add-ons, you learn different modalities, and that's the fun thing about therapy is there's different types. So IFS is called Internal Family Systems, and Richard Schwartz, he is a marriage family therapist of like 40 plus years, and he was doing a lot of research and was doing all this, and he kept seeing people blaming like, oh, the kid's the problem. And then he started to realize like, no, there's an origin story that's the problem. Like they are kind of patient zero, but it's really the dynamic in the home. And so when he started to talk to people, how often, like, did you see Inside Out?
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a very simplified version of what IFS is. So essentially what it's saying is we have all these parts. So I'm 35. I've got 35 years of parts, and we have them kind of broken down into there's the exiled parts. The exiled parts are the parts of us that caused pain when we were kids. So maybe it was the fact that like I would go to my parents with a need, and then maybe they, like for me, my family, my dad was incredibly narcissistic and he hit us a lot. So when I would go to my dad, he would do something. So those exiled parts are the versions of you that wanted the love that we tuck away because they received pain. And to us, we're like, well, that's a weakness, right? If I have a need, if I cry, fuck that, put it aside. So we exile those parts, and those are the parts that really need us the most. And those are the ones that are calling to us often. Then we have something called the protector part. And the protector parts come out because they're like, you're not going to touch her, okay? And so the protector parts could be, we're going to shut down because in the past, when mom yells at us and we shut down, she walks out, we don't get hit. So that saved us and protected us at some point. Your brain and your nervous system are something called egocentric age. So by age 6, 7, 8, depending on the school of thought, you are creating the world around you because of narcissism, which is normal, right? A kid is narcissistic in the sense where everything is about them, their footing, their placement, how they understand. So how they attune to their caregivers also plays a part. And sometimes it's subtle, right? It could be your parents worked 24/7, and every time you went to the parent, okay, come on. And they dismissed you, so you learned, oh, I'm too much, my needs are too much. Okay, my parents, they're busy. We don't have the cognitive ability to be like, oh, my parents are adults, they have a job, I'm a
They don't know.
We don't know. So our nervous system and our brain develop these protector parts. Then we have something called the firefighter. They're the ones that when something happens, they come out of like, oh my God, alert the media, there's something dangerous. And then we have the manager who's exactly kind of that of being like, okay, she's going to sit up straight and sit a little bit better. She's kind of managing how you're So when we're starting to understand doing this inner work, something that's really helpful is like, let's say, we'll use the texting as an example. You're dating somebody, you're in a relationship with somebody that didn't text you back. All of a sudden you're going, oh my God, they don't like me anymore. If we want to understand IFS, the first thing we want to do is, what part is this? Who is this? Okay, where do I feel that in my body? I'm like, oof, my chest is like on fire. Can I give that a texture, a color, a shape? So that way I can detach from the part. So I'm not fused with the part. I'm not anxious. I have an anxious part. So that we don't self-identify. You're not crazy. There is a part in you that doesn't feel safe. So when we detach that way, because what we're trying to do is I need to be the adult I didn't have as a kid. So let's say I'm like, they didn't text me. I feel it in my chest. What's that chest sensation trying to say? They're going to leave me and nobody likes me. Oh, okay. So it sounds like that's a protector part that's like, okay, maybe we should start texting them a ton because then we can try to understand. So what I'm going to do is say, okay, what do you need from me in order to feel safe right now that you can't get from other people? Maybe that's I need to talk to myself a little nicer. Maybe that's I need to go for a walk. Maybe that's I need something, or I can let that little girl know, I know that dad as a kid was kind of an asshole to you, but I'm so sorry that I abandoned you and I left you to feel what that version of you has always been feeling because I wasn't listening. When I can reparent and let those parts know that I'm the adult, and like for me, I have them in like a really pretty house and I have an alarm system. Like they're decked out because the point is to create that safety internally so that they're not alerting the media being like, Kelly, oh my God, you're not safe. Your husband's going to leave. And you're like, hey, actually, no, he's safe. This isn't mom or dad. They're not going to go anywhere. And I need to let you know that I've got this and you could go be a kid. I'm the adult.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's so interesting. It's so interesting that you can train your brain to start recognizing that that's a completely different part of yourself. And I like what you call it, that self on your show. What do you like your little self? What do you?
Oh, your inner child. You're little. Like
you're little.
Here's my little. I have a photo of her all over the house because I have my littles that growing up are really bullied. And so what did they learn? There's something wrong with me. Nobody likes me. And so when a troll attacks me on the internet, I go right back to the 6-year-old girl in middle school or elementary school being bullied. So I need to let her know, fuck those girls.
Yeah.
Fuck those girls. Fuck these people. You are good. I'm here for you. Doesn't really matter what they say.
I do love that.
I love that. It was a trick that I probably learned off of TikTok at some point, but something that I started doing when I was having some like body conscious issues is I printed out a couple pictures of my 4-year-old self and left it in my bathroom. Like gave it a little frame, left it in my bathroom, and I was like, you're being mean to that little girl.
Exactly. That's who
you're talking to.
When we self-abandon, when we talk shit, so that's the fun thing. We actually, when you show compassion to yourself, you release dopamine. And dopamine is that reward drug. That's when you're waiting for the text, the anticipation. So if I can give that to myself, I'm no longer dependent on another person.
Wow.
So instead of going, I'm such a fucking loser and I messed up. Whoa, I'm a human and I'm allowed to make a mistake because growing up, I was taught that a mistake meant danger. I'm not in danger anymore.
Yeah.
And it's not about discrediting the parts, right? We hear all the time, get rid of your ego. Where's it going to go? Where are you getting rid of it, right? That critic is there. She's trying to protect you.
Yeah.
So that critic is saying, hey, we don't want to be abandoned. But they need to know that they're no longer a kid.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'll always ask, how old do I feel? It's a great question to be like, how old do I feel right now? I'm like, feel like I'm 7. What happened when I was 7? Those girls were mean. Okay, so this is being triggered.
Oh, wow. That's a good way to look at it, too. Now, and it's interesting because when you're talking right here, and I know you're thinking about you and your 7-year-old self in the bathroom, and my main thing, and then maybe this is the parent in me, is going, what am I doing to my kid? Like, how do I make my kids, how do I set them up for the best success when it comes to relationships? Because I get busy and I do shoo them off sometimes. I mean, I did it yesterday. We were in the middle of a podcast. My 5-year-old walked in and I was like, get out. Yeah. And it's like, where is the balance? Like, obviously you want them to feel safe and secure, but you also don't want them to be assholes. And so I'm like, while you're talking, that is where my mind went. Like, how do you make, if you could tell, or if you have any insight on it, what is like the best way to make sure your kids feel secure in relationships when they're older, or feel this sense of like, okay, yes, these girls might have been mean to me, but like, is there a way to teach them? I know they're little and I know it's tough. Okay, so tell me.
So what we kind of look at is like, think about this, right? So when I think about when I was a kid, where would I go? I didn't have anybody. And so you want to be the parent that they would say when they think back on when a girl was bullied to me, I knew I felt safe with my mom because she always created a safe space for me. And how you do that, it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. Being a parent, you're going to fuck up your kids. All of us have issues. It doesn't matter. You could be perfect and then the kid might be, the pendulum swings and now they're too dependent on you. What we look at for secure doesn't mean perfect. Secure doesn't mean you don't feel emotions. It's about going to your 5-year-old after and saying, I need to take ownership. I'm so sorry I shooed you away. Mommy was in the middle of something and I apologize if that hurt your feelings, but I want you to know that I love having you there, but that moment, I just couldn't have you come into the room. What we do, because what you're teaching her is you can make a mistake and take ownership. She doesn't need to be perfect in order to receive love. She didn't do anything wrong, and you're letting her know that it's okay. You're just not allowed in the room at that moment, but that doesn't mean, and I apologize, taking ownership. Because then she learns that, it's okay to say I'm sorry. It's okay to take ownership and accountability. That's the problem. We hear this all the time of my parents never fought in front of me. Everything was perfect, so I never knew what it meant to have conflict.
Oh, that's me.
Right? Exactly. And you're like, it's not positive. Your parents were doing the best they could with the information they knew. None of this is villainizing. My dad was an asshole, but that doesn't mean everybody else's was. But where did I learn this from? I learned it from there. So if I can say, if you're noticing and you're saying, my daughter's shutting down or she's getting really anxious, hey, what are you feeling? You want to talk to me? And if she says no, you're like, I just want you to know I'm here. And your emotions are all super valid, but the reactions might not be. And so we can talk about the behavior whenever you're ready.
And are there certain, because I feel like sometimes I have sat down and just been like, you want to tell me what's going on or whatnot? And I think it's really tough for them to process what you're even asking and like what they're really feeling. Are there any like specific questions that you would know that would like kind of spark like what we're actually asking?
For me, like I've asked my nephew, I'll be like, where do you feel it? Because they can, we're
in the
here.
body?
Yeah, like, where do you feel it? Or you're like, if they're like, I just feel, right? If your daughter's like, I don't know. And you're like, where do you feel it? In your chest? And if she's like, yeah. It's like, what color is it? Start to help them understand, oh, okay. And if you're like, that's okay, just be here with me. And you can hold her hand of like, it's okay. You're like, you want to scream? Go ahead. Because what do kids do? They shake when they're scared. That's your nervous system regulating. If a tiger walked by right now and all of us froze, we would have different, I might freeze, you might run, you might fawn and just be like, "Meh, maybe he'll just kill me." We all have different way of doing things because of how we fight or flight, freeze or fawn. And so what we're trying to get them is that your kids can know that they can regulate, they can come back to the present moment and be in their bodies without, because I can know that was what's scary with me. I'd go to my room, I'd be crying, I'd be in pain, and there was no one to come and help me process that.
Okay. I
And
love
if-
that.
You know, and even if they're like, you were mean, and you're like, you're right.
Yeah.
I was. Like, I'm so sorry for that. And you're right. That's really valid.
Yeah.
Sometimes just hearing that, you're like, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like a lot of times when I apologize and they're like, all right, it's okay. I'm like, okay, well, great.
Isn't
Let's
it
move
crazy
on.
when an apology is accepted?
I know.
Especially from kids, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
But you're teaching them that mistakes are natural, that they're allowed
Yeah.
to because you're human. But really what they look at is like, I look back thinking, I didn't have a parent. If I had somebody there like I do now with my mom, she's a bit more online, I probably would have been a little different.
Oh, it's so interesting. Okay. So now I want to get into attachment styles. This is all related, right?
It all plays.
Let's pretend our listeners have never heard of them before. Can you explain, please, what are the attachment styles and how it relates to the family and the core beliefs you're talking about?
Totally. So there's 4 main attachment styles that we talk about. Mainstream, the rest, fine. It's like everything else. Yeah. So you have secure, right? And secure really is that your parents attune to your needs about 30% of the time. That's actually how you create, like, think about even now, parents that throw the phone at their kids. What do you think? How do you think they're connecting with their parents? Or even something as simple as facial expressions. Like kids notice if their mom is sad, they're like, uh-oh, I did something. If their mom is happy, they attune to the needs and understand. So a secure child understands I have a high sense of self and a high sense of others. And so they're able to give and receive love. They understand independence and interdependence, right? That relationships are beautiful and we need them, but I also need my alone time, and that's important. So that's the secure, that's the gold standard we're all trying.
You said 30% of the time?
You need for eye contact is the study is what they're showing. So there's actually, have you ever heard of the still face experiment?
No.
So it was done in the 70s, and I believe it was Bowlby who did it, but it was done in the 70s. And essentially what they did is they had a mom with a newborn. They had a bunch of them. And this has been replicated. You could Google it 1,000 times since. And they had the mom making faces and cooing and and then they had the parents just stop and just stand there, no facial expression. And at first you saw the kid kind of like trying to reconnect with the parent, and then you started to see what came after was their attachment. So we have the secure might try to reach for the mom and then calmly just sit there, and then the mom came back online and okay, they're back and they reconnect. Then you start to see the insecure attachments, right? You see the anxious one start getting really upset, start screaming, start having a temper tantrum because she needed to, or they needed to act big in order to be seen. And so with the anxious attacher, it's very low sense of self, high sense of others. There's something wrong with me, but you tell me everything's going to be okay. Because oftentimes inconsistent caregivers, like that was me. Right? Dad's in and out. You never knew what you were going to get. And so you're always waiting, when are they going to come back for me? And so everything is external, and it's really difficult to connect internally because we're avoiding sitting with our feelings. Then we go to the avoidant attacher, and they're the ones that they might look and then they shut down. Right? And those are the people, like my sister is like that. She'll get overwhelmed and you could just see it. Her eyes gloss over and she completely shuts down. And so the avoidant attacher is low sense of others, high sense of self. And so these are people that are saying, and it's a lot of, we say men, but there are women that are like this. Emotions are terrifying. They're overwhelming. Vulnerability is scary. Like I know for my partner, his dad would hit him a lot. And so when he would have an emotion, he would get reprimanded. So what did he learn? That's weakness. Shut it down. Don't show anything. And that's why the avoidance gets such a bad rep, because we think they don't care. It's like, no, they're regulating their nervous system because they need space. They're overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with this. No one's taught them how to process. Then we go to the disorganized attachment. That's that amalgamation. It's not with one person I'm this and the other I'm that. It's like, that can vacillate. The disorganized is the trauma is in their attachment style. So it's homes of abuse, homes of alcoholism. It's the same caregiver that was your safety also inflicted your pain. So you go for the, like, my dad, how my brother is a little, he wants the love and then terrified of it. So the disorganized, when you date them, is the push-pull. 1 minute you're feeling like you're on top of the world with them, and then the next morning they act like they don't know who you are.
Love bombed and ghosted.
Yeah, exactly. It's that intensity and remove, because that's how they regulate. So they want the love because they're like, please don't leave me. And then when they get it, it's, I'm not worthy of this, and they remove themselves.
Oh, wow.
And so what we look at is like, none of these people are bad people. They're not. And attachment styles are really then once you start to date, you start to notice how it plays out, right? The anxious attacher can't sit still, needs the constant reassurance, feels insecure about everything that they do, is constantly overthinking and hyperfixated. The avoidant attacher looks like they're aloof, right? Oh, this is too much. They're a very like lone soldier. They kind of keep to themselves. The disorganized is usually the big, gregarious, fun personality, but they don't really have relationships as often because of that hot and cold in and out.
Huh. Interesting. Are there certain relation or attachment styles that tend to work? Okay,
tend to work. So secure can really work with anybody. I will say this: any of the attachment styles can work together if you're both doing the work. That's it. If you're both working on your shit, like my partner's avoidant, I'm more anxious, but we both understand. Like he'll say, "To avoid resentment, can I share with you?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. What's up?" And I know to like sit, listen. My job is to sit down, shut my goddamn mouth, and and listen to him. So I need to stop reacting and I need to respond. His job is to stop retreating and to come back online to express himself to me.
Wow. Okay, wait. Say that one sentence again because I love that.
Yeah. Instead of reacting, we want to respond.
Ooh, that's me.
Yeah, the reaction. And so what we look at is the reaction. Like, let's say the trigger happens. A trigger is a neutral action or inaction. Your husband slams the door, right? It could be something minute. It could be he just says, like my partner said no once. And all of a sudden you're triggered and you're like, what the fuck? And so my knee-jerk, what do you mean no? Right? That would be my reaction of like a defense, get clarity. Versus I could stop and be like, whoa, what's coming up for me? Okay, the pinch doesn't match the ouch. Like all he said was no and I want to kill him. Okay, this reminds me of my dad. And then you process and you're like, hey, can I share something with you? And then you can communicate like, that was really triggering. Please know you didn't do anything. But moving forward, you would really help me as if you could say no and then just give me a reason why. Because then I don't have to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
And he just looked and he was like, oh my God, of course. He was like, that makes so much sense. Moved on with our lives.
Oh, wow.
So you get to choose. The power of the pause is giving yourself a moment to come back, to regulate so your head and your feet are in the same place. And you're not going back to being a 6-year-old who's talking to your parents. You're in the moment.
Yeah. Power of the pause. And I don't pause and I need to pause.
As mine.
Yeah. Like that one sentence really got me because I guess I am anxious.
It's okay.
Yeah. Which would make sense because my husband's probably a little avoidant.
Or secure, yeah. Probably.
Could be. And
Maybe a little secure.
Gotta remember too, it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
And you can change
You
throughout
can
your life.
change.
That's something I want to get to as
You
well.
can grow. You can evolve.
And how do you change? Or like or do you want to be secure? Is that the goal?
It's the goal in the sense it's fetishized for sure. It's the goal in the sense because the reason I do is I want to be able to make choices from a place of empowerment and not from feeling dysregulated. When you're not regulated, when your nervous system is constantly feeling there's danger, someone's going to come get me, I'm not safe, well then how are you able to access choice? Right? If a tiger was walking by, that's why we use that example. Your body is thinking that it's always going to be killed. But it's not. Like I'm even having blood sugar issues. And my doctor was explaining in the middle of the night, you're coming so low, your body is jacking up its insulin because it thinks you're going to die.
Yeah.
It doesn't know any better. It doesn't know that I'm comfy in my great little bed in my Casper. Like it has no idea. So that is now where we go, okay, I need to regulate, come back. By doing that, that's what makes you secure. You're earned secure. You never get rid of it. Healing, what that actually means is that you learn to live with your emotions and that you hold space for them, but you don't get rid of them.
Just like Inside Out, all your emotions are in that little
They're all there. Exactly.
I've seen that movie multiple times. So
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love that we're teaching kids early that there's space for all of them.
Yeah.
You're positive and you can't, if we don't, we all want the positive, but yet none of us want to deal with the sadness. But then how are we going to appreciate the positive?
Yeah, I mean, it's very true.
Absolutely. And I feel like there's also this like culture, this undercurrent, and maybe it's on its way out, but almost of like toxic positivity is in terms of like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't have space for you. I need to heal before I talk to you, or I need to heal before I date, or I need to. I think what's so important about all of this that I've learned from you, from watching you on TikTok and everything, is just that you can be healing through the process of learning. Like you do not have to figure out all your shit and then go on a date. Like,
It's not real.
It's not real. And also you're not getting any practice.
No, you hurt in relationships, you heal in relationships. My father fucked me up, but my husband, my partner, my boyfriend now, he's showing me that who I am is more than enough. And he's showing me now, like I'm getting to rewrite and rewire my nervous system to receive safety. Because I could receive hate, I could receive negativity. That's what I believe about myself. But someone coming and saying, I don't think you're too much, I think you're just enough. And you're like, huh? It goes against everything I've ever believed about myself.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to hurt in them, but you also heal. You find ways to reconnect, and that's the only way. You could do all the healing in the world alone. The second you get into the dating or relationship world, you're going to be triggered.
Yeah.
It's part of life.
Oh, wow.
And we've done it's avoidance, right? Just get rid of them. Oh no, good vibes only. And it's like, yeah, get fucked.
Yeah.
Like, Good
No,
vibes only.
it's so true. I was single for 2 years before very recently, and I was very anxious, and I was also chasing a lot of avoidant men. I think that's an interesting thing to talk about is like, do you have a tendency to be attracted to certain things? Haha. And then I'm in a brand new relationship now, and I'm suddenly swung the other direction.
So that's really so what we look at is that's your nervous system. So when we look at the nervous system, it's a ladder. If you like polyvagal theory, it's a theory like anything else. And what that shows is like we used to think that our nervous system could not be controlled, that it's autonomic, right? That it just goes off and that's it. But we actually learned that the breath and coming back is actually controlling the nervous system. So you can rig the system. And so what happens is when you're with somebody that is super avoidant, super emotionally unavailable, especially depending on where you are in your journey, that's going to feel familiar if that's what you grew up with. Like for me, my dad was narcissistic. Those were come to mama because it's called repetition compulsion. It's a Freudian term. You are going to repeat the patterns that are unhealed because of two things. One, it feels safer, but two, you're hoping that you can work through that issue with this person. So if you, the narcissist, tells me I'm not too much and I'm amazing, my dad was wrong. But what happens? It reconfirms it. Yeah. So when you go for somebody that's emotionally unavailable and avoidant and you're constantly proving yourself and you're going, that is because that's baseline. For me, that was baseline. I always knew how to prove myself. And you'd say jump, I said how high. Once I started to pull back and be like, no, I deserve better. I'm the goddamn loaf. Like, come and eat me. I don't need to come trace your fucking breadcrumbs. Then when the opposite, when we say, oh, now I'm the pendulum, it's because you're going down the ladder and you're going more into dorsal where your body is like, I don't know how to receive this. Shut down. Yeah. And then it starts to feel like, I don't know about this. Because it's hard when you are so used to not feeling loved and feeling like you're the problem to then having somebody tell you that you're great. Your body's like, I don't know what to do with this. And that's where the work continues of like, I am allowed to receive this.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it makes me think of you, Matthew, and your father a lot. You say this all the time, that you married the man you did because your father is just the most incredible guy. Aww. He really is.
He's very, my dad. My husband's special too. But no, he is a special man. And honestly, like I always felt loved by my parents. They were busy. I will say that. They both worked full time. My dad traveled a bunch. But and I don't know if this is part of it. I have core memories of both of them that I can recall going to them for things and them sitting and just listening, which I don't know if that's rare. I feel like right now for me that's rare, and I need to make that better for my children. But it is. Like Matthew has a lot of qualities of that my dad has, and he probably hates me saying that. He loves my dad, but they're just two different beings. And I do think, do you believe that when you have an attachment that is, I guess, is when you're a certain attachment style, is that how you attach to everybody?
So a lot of people think like, oh, I'm like that in relationships. It's like, no, peel back.
You're like that with everybody.
It's like start looking at your texts. When you text your friend and they don't answer you, do you start to go, wait, did I do something wrong? Did I piss them off? Wait, did I say something? Right? You just, it's subtle, right? Okay. Like when people meet me and they're like, you have anxiety? I'm like, oh, you didn't see? Like you didn't realize how my ADHD with my cadence and the spacing and the way that I talk. And it's like, no, for some people, they really don't get it. But there is a spectrum. You can heal it. Like it doesn't mean that it's just beholden. But yes, you will see it in more walks of life. You might be more anxious with the way that you work. You might be anxious in different areas of your life, but it more is compounded in relationships because you are never going to be triggered as closely to your childhood as you will in romantic relationships. Yeah. Friendships, you have a lot of space from. Yeah. Work, you have space from. And work is very black and white. Like it's business. But romantic relationships are going to bring you back to those places that you've been trying to avoid.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, that really is interesting.
When we're talking about this, I never want to villainize anyone's parents. You can have incredible, like I love my mom. I would set myself on fire. But I also know she failed me as a kid in a lot of ways. She wasn't there in the ways I need her. Now she is. Yeah. But I would be doing myself a disservice if I was like, no, she's a great mom. Then I'm gaslighting myself and not actually saying, no, there was some stuff that really hurt.
Yeah. Yes. And like you said, as a child, you can't understand the relationships and what they're doing. You're like, oh, well, I never see them, so I just don't see them. Like, they don't want to see me. But you're right. Like, giving it a voice now, I would say we joke about it all the time, but I was left a lot. Yeah. I was the third child. They thought they had me. I would be at the mall. I'd be at the bowling alley waiting by the manager's station. Like, are they going to come pick me back up? Yeah. But now looking at it as a parent of 4, I'm going, I understand it. And it's not that they didn't love me. It's not they didn't care. They came back, so they cared. But
and that's where you go back to your little and say like, but she's right. That was hurtful.
Yeah.
Like she's allowed to be hurt. And I think that's what we're trying. Because a lot of people, it's like, I don't want to talk about my parents negatively. And it's like, she's not. She's saying I'm sad. Yeah. She's allowed to be sad. And what I would say is go pick her up. Right? Sometimes I'll meditate and I'm like, come with me. You don't need to be at this bowling alley anymore wondering when someone's going to come get you because you've been waiting for me this whole time.
I love that.
Oh, I love really that too.
That's great. This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are the things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help you when you need it so your dollar goes a long way. Visit progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates. Potential savings will vary, not available in all states or situations.
Can you explain this quote unquote infidelity machine?
You mean social media being the infidelity machine?
Yeah.
So many new terms. I don't even
know.
I want to talk about that because this girl was telling me she was in a relationship and then all of a sudden she's like, wait, I don't think I am because we're exclusive but we're not like together again. And I'm like,
yeah.
You're like, what the fuck?
There's either you're a boyfriend and girlfriend or you're not. Where are all these terms?
So I was going to say, for me, that nowadays it's like there's exclusive where you're like, because of dating apps. That's what really changed it. The dating apps is where you're like, I'm exclusive, meaning we're not going to be dating anybody else and I'm just going to focus on you. But that could still mean that we're not right for each other. Because when you start to date and you're dating 20 different people, right? You're on the apps, you're around, you're not focused on this one. But when you're like, I'm going to just give you attention, you're not my girlfriend yet. Because I want to make sure I like this enough to continue introducing you to my friends. Once I introduce you to friends and family and we're in a couple, we're together.
Interesting.
So it's about just like going, it's pacing the relationship so that you can be like, I am choosing this as well. You are not just choosing me.
Ooh, I like that.
All right? Because that's what I'm all about. That's my work, is like coming home to you. It's not about how am I going to get you a relationship. I don't have a crystal ball. It's in the shop. But what I can say is if you're good with you, your life is going to change.
Yeah.
So I apologize. The infidelity machine.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just deducing based on what you're saying. Social media, our nervous system's not ready for this. Our nervous system is still back in hunter-gatherer days. We don't understand technology. That's why, I was reading today, we grab our phone 2,900 times a day on average.
That is disgusting.
That's an insane amount of times, how many times you touch your phone, grab it, do something on it, scroll on it. Most of us are spending, they did a study that if you spend over 2 hours on social media, it shows a complete decline in productivity and in happiness. So we're seeing social media is quite a dangerous, but it's also beautiful, right? I have a career because of it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Right? But I think what we're seeing is that's where the hypervigilance comes in. And now, there's two conflicting thoughts. I am not going to discredit any woman or man out there that has proof that their partner might be doing something and that they figured that out via social. Kudos, good luck, Godspeed. But if you have no goddamn proof and you are projecting your past bullshit because every partner has cheated on me, that's not this person's problem. They didn't do anything. So you're watching how many girls they're following, how many accounts they're following. They followed 2 new people today. They commented a flame. It's hypervigilance.
Well, don't go commenting a flame.
Right? It's like
they draw the line there.
It's always some sort of something where I'm like, I don't bother to look at what my partner's doing on social because I trust him. And I don't have the bandwidth to give a shit about what he's doing when he's on the toilet. I don't.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean by like, you're going to go find a problem. Because if I looked and was like, why'd you follow 2 new women? I'm just being insecure about the fact that if I have no proof. Because here's the thing. Yeah. If I'm worried you're cheating on me, then break up. Yeah. Right? Then don't be with that partner. You do get a choice, but the choice isn't that I'm going to be hyper fixated on every move you make because I want to prove you right.
It just sounds exhausting too. I mean, I've been there, so I have no judgment, but
100%.
Your body must be going through so many calories just being anxious all day.
Survival mode. That's why you won't sleep, you don't eat, you don't drink, you can't sleep. Why? What if the tiger was running after you? Would you be finishing your meal? No. Your body is like, I need to keep you safe. So you're not going to do the basic necessities like take care of yourself.
Oh, wow.
Notice when you get super anxious and you're like, I've been eating all day, your body is now in survival mode. Your blood sugar's crashing. Your body is releasing some insulin because it needs to survive. And then that's why you'll come and have big crashes.
I mean, this is what I love about this work is I love to talk about emotions the way that you would be talking about any other body part if you were an athlete.
Yeah.
Like why, like we take care of our bodies, right? We warm up, we cool down before we work out, but we don't do.
We pause too.
And we take
breaks.
Some breaks.
Yeah.
But we don't don't really, and we don't really have the language for it either, but we don't really, at least in English, but we don't do that. And the thing is, it would be a less sensitive topic if we were making them more biological, if that makes sense.
I agree. I wish we were talking about it more like that.
Do you think, because this is really interesting, like we talked about the texting back and how you can go in this fight or flight situation when someone doesn't text you back. And you just mentioning, you know, we stop and we describe these as body parts. This world is so fast right now because of what you have in your hand and because of social media. Like, do you think, because I was thinking about, you know, when my parents were dating back in God knows when, love you guys. There was no like immediate, like you go on a date, you go home. There was no like, oh my God, he didn't text me after.
Right.
He doesn't like me.
Yeah, my mom's like, you weren't by your phone. You didn't get the call.
Yeah, like there was, or there wasn't a phone line and you just saw him when you saw him the next time. And it kind of gave you that space to decompress a little bit because you didn't really have time to be like, well, what are they doing now and where are they going and who are they talking to?
It's created, that's what I mean, like that hypervigilance, that constantly scanning because it's a dopamine machine. Every time a text, so dopamine is released in anticipation of. So that's why you're like, when are they going to text me? When are they going to text me? And then when they do, serotonin gets released, but it's not as good as dopamine. Serotonin's not as yummy. That's why it's anticlimactic because you get it and you're like, okay, I'm good for 5 minutes, and then boom, drop off. When's the next? When's the next? Why aren't they texting? It's been 20 minutes. You start to see when you're like, it's not about the text, then is it? And that's okay. I will hold space I have so many clients that come to me and we work through it, and there's no shame or blame about it, but cut the bullshit and tell me what it actually is. It's not about the text. It's never just one text.
Yeah.
Text takes bandwidth. Because I hear all the time of like, it takes 10 seconds. No. You believe it takes. You're right. The physical act. Who says I owe that to you? Just because I have my phone in my hands 24 hours doesn't mean you have access to me 24 hours.
Oh, I wish that we could put that on a banner.
Right? Like just because I have doesn't mean, it's like with Insta, it's like just because you can DM me doesn't mean I owe you a response, right?
Yes.
So it's we're having this entitlement of like, well, I text, okay, you do that, but your lived experience isn't everybody else's.
I know.
And that's okay. And I get it. I understand, but that's why I'm a bit of a hard ass about it because it's like, let's talk about what it actually is so we can let it free.
I have one question that I've wanting to ask you because I feel like a lot of our listeners are married and they're probably around our age or older. Well, I guess we have some younger ones too. And there's this like thing right now, the roommate phase when you're married and either you have kids or you don't, and you kind of just go through the process.
Yeah.
How do you stay away from that?
I'll be honest. I'm in that right now myself, where I literally told my partner this morning, I was like, I feel like we're roommates. And it's like, because I started to look and I was like, so what's missing? And that's what I think is really the hard conversation. I was like, I don't feel like there's romance anymore. I don't feel like you're dating me anymore. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we moved, we got so stuck into the like unpack, get the room, get everything done, get the work done, that we lost sight of why are we together? And so that's our goal right now is like, how can we actually rebuild the reasons we fell in love with each other? Because when we get into the roommate phase, it's like, are you still courting your partner? Are you still dating them? Are you still going out? Are you still excited about seeing them? Because if not, then maybe it's just asking, am I growing with this person or are we growing apart? And I think it's just about being really honest because the honeymoon phase is something called the power struggle. Everyone goes through it. Mm-hmm. The power struggle is the phase, and it can come 2 years, it can come 3 years. It's when the honeymoon phase truly wears off and you start to realize that this person's a person. And now you're going through the power struggles of, well, I want to do this, but you want to do this. And now all of a sudden the rose-colored glasses are lifted and you're like, I'm going to fucking punch you, right? You're like, what did you just say? And so what we want to look at is it's normal. It's part of the dating and courtship phase. And if you can push past it and you can actually sit and come back, because you have kids. Mm-hmm. I would imagine that you and your husband are like, we need to reconnect, right? Because you can go into nanny, baby, mommy, daddy, working. Everybody goes into their jobs, but then you forget why you are together.
Yeah.
And that would be my suggestion. Remind yourself.
Words of affirmation.
Yeah, just reconnecting.
Yeah. I think love languages. How does this factor in?
Love languages are often unmet needs. When we think about it. So for me, like acts of service was huge because no one ever did shit for me growing up. Yeah. So it makes me feel really loved when someone does. Yeah. Physical touch is huge for me. It just makes me feel supported and loved because my dad would in and out. Words of affirmation, not really my thing. Gift giving, not really my thing. That's what my dad used to use against me. It makes me uncomfortable when people buy me things. But what we want to look at is give and receive. Because I might give. Right. For me, giving, I love acts of service, but I love gift giving. I love nothing more than like seeing something and being like, you want to open it?
Yeah.
Right? Like, do you want to open it? Because I'm like, I thought about you and I really like. Yeah. And so if we miss that, let's say my love language is acts of service, but my partner's is word of affirmation or quality time. If I don't understand that, then I'm like, what is he doing? So who gives a shit? So you're here all the time. And it's like, but that's his way of showing you love. So I'll give you an example. When I first started dating my partner, it was our like 4th date. And he said, come over for dinner. I want to make you dinner. And I remember it was like, he did that for like quite a few dates. But I remember sitting there and I was like, what is this, a fucking brothel? Like, I'm not just coming over for dinner. And then I walked in and I was like, oh, it's like,
a thing.
Yeah, I was like, there's like a 3-course meal. And then right before I left, I was, I don't like sleeping in someone else's bed. So I went home and he passed me something, goes, I know you don't eat lunch very often because of your work. So I made you lunch. I just wanted to make sure you had it. And I was like,
stop.
God,
and so then
really sweet.
right into the average person, they'd be like, ugh, he didn't take me to dinner. And it's like, no, he went one step further.
Yeah.
He showed you love in the way that he knows how. But if you don't know how to receive it or you're not familiar, then you might say, but he didn't buy me something nice. It's like, oh, okay, that's okay, right? If that's your gift, if that's your love language. But we have to understand how people give and receive.
Yeah. Because I feel like, do you feel like sometimes people give what they want, what their love language might be?
Sometimes, yeah.
Like, I feel like sometimes Matthew loves, and Matthew loves when I cook for him, and I've cooked for him. I'm not kidding, probably 5 times in our entire marriage. Because I'm just not, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. But I know that he loves it and he always wants to cook me dinner. But that's just not I'm like,
it's not your
Thanks.
love language. Yeah.
Like Chef Chris is also
could have ordered McDonald's too. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, food is food to me. And I think it hurts him when I'm not like, thank you so much. Because that's him trying to connect in that way. And it's just not the way that I connect or I receive.
That's why like the golden rule has always kind of felt like bullshit to me.
Which one?
The treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way they have asked you to treat them.
Yeah, especially communicate, like talk about it. Like, how do you like to receive love? Because if someone's like, oh man, I don't like PDA, don't touch me. And you're like, oh, I'm huge on physical touch. Then you might just go, oh, maybe we're not going to like jive in that way. And then you can start to see what's part of the 80% that I have to have and what's part of the 20% that I can say, I can overlook it, right?
Yeah.
I don't need that, right? Or like for me, physical touch, like I've dated men that just like were not into it. Didn't work. I couldn't. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel wanted. So it's really about being honest with yourself.
Do you think people can learn, like, for instance, I don't think Matthew is a huge physical touch person. And I am very, like, if he's on the couch, I'm on him. Like, and he's always like, okay, a little space here. But I do think he is, like, kind of learned over time, like, this is what I love. So he has made it comfortable for himself to be able to show that love in public and whatnot. But do you think people can learn and like
100%.
Like the 20%, yes, that you can throw away, absolutely. But do you think your partner can also meet you for some of it?
100%. They're not going to get it all, right? Like they're never going to get all. Your partner's never going to satisfy all your needs. But when somebody really loves you, they're going to care about how they make you feel.
Yeah.
When someone really gives a shit about having you and like, you are the person I want in my life, then they're also going to say, so what do I need to do to keep that? Vice versa. And like for you, you're saying, I know physical touch isn't his thing, but hey, we found a compromise that I can put my hand on his leg or whatever. Like I can put my leg over his. He feels safe. I feel safe.
Yeah.
That's the point of like, you both come together to figure this out. But how would you know if you didn't talk about it?
Right. What you're saying, both of you have to come together. I have plenty of people I know, friends, people that I used to work with that are in relationships where you can tell they are working really hard and the other one's just out to lunch.
It's not reciprocal.
Oh no.
It's a non-reciprocal chase at that point.
And I feel like you can't salvage that. Like if one person doesn't want to try, then it's kind of like you're going to work your ass off for something that's.
Wait, so yeah, when do you call it?
So it's hard. Everybody's going to be different on when to call it. One of my friends put it this way. Think of it like a bank account. Is it going in the green? You're making progress. You're starting to see things. Like even if it's something as simple as I told my partner I really like this and they did it. Okay, cool. That means that they're listening to me. That means we're making progress. That means, okay. Then we also look, or am I in the red? Is it just my needs are constantly not met? I'm constantly begging them because we have to look at, is it behavioral? Like I don't love that my partner says this. I've told it to them. So they said they're going to work on it. Or is it character? Right? They're rude to waiters. They're dismissive of me. Okay, well, that's not going to change.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Those types of things fundamentally. So we have to start to look at like, even with me and my partner, having really hard conversations now of like, we need to look and say, okay, even if you do all this work, where does it bring you to? Is that enough for me and you, right? Like, what is it that you want? What is it that I want? Can we bridge the gap? And oftentimes the toxic unhealthy is usually the easiest to identify. Oh, well, they're an asshole. They cheated. They did something. It's really hard when it's really healthy and beautiful. And you're just like, wow, are we just two different people? Because I can love you, but I can also know that maybe it's not right for me.
Yeah.
Right? If my partner, like, if he doesn't want to move where I want or have the career that I want to have and he wants to be on a country, like, being off the grid, Doesn't matter how much we love each other.
Right.
Love is not enough. It's about proximity, timing, not just compatibility, but also comprehension. Are you both understanding each other? Are you really getting, are you conflict and repair? How are you able to be as a couple?
Right.
That's when you'll know. At that point, if you have conflict with no repair, it's done.
I also think that's with I think someone brought up something, and it was like a car that you don't get the oil change. You don't take care of the car. You don't date. You don't take care of the relationship. You don't communicate. Like, it's going to fail.
It's going to fail. Like anything else.
Yeah.
This fallacy, you're married, you'll understand what I'm about to say. This fallacy that healthy relationships are easy. Who sold you this false bill of goods that it's easy? It should flow, right? I want it to flow. I want us to be able to feel like we're ebbing and going back. But it will never be easy. What is easy? Starting a business wasn't easy. I love it, though. Yeah. Anything in life, that's why I'm like, we've gotten to this, I feel like this generation now, and I don't mean to be offensive to anybody that's in it, is very like, I don't like anything uncomfortable, right? Yeah. If it's uncomfortable, feelings over facts, right? I feel this, which means it's what it is, and I don't like it. And so it's something as simple as like, this makes me uncomfortable, get rid of them. But where are we sitting in any discomfort to grow as humans?
Yeah.
I've had a few relationships end for that reason. Like I've been on the receiving end of someone that I'm like, you could probably talk to somebody one time and this relationship wouldn't have to end.
Right. Especially what it means for a lot of people. It's if I say something, they'll leave me. They'll get mad. They'll get angry. And I'm like, babe, then you're already alone.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm with you with that. Yeah. Like if I gotta go back to this generation because
it's okay. Roast us. It's
no,
fine.
I'm not gonna roast you guys because I do think there's something special about you guys understanding your feelings.
Totally.
In the way of like, you're like, well, this makes me uncomfortable. In the old days. We're not in our days. In our days, if something made us uncomfortable, I feel like it would be conflict. Like I mean,
fight, perhaps? Is that what you mean?
I mean, like, depends on the uncomfortable I'm in. Give me a scenario that what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, even something as simple as like, I don't like the way my partner said that to me. And for a lot of people, they're like, fine, I'm out. This should be out. And you're like, no. It's okay to have a conversation with this person and be like, hey, what you said was rude.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, I don't, but what we were taught was like, remember going to the club and you had to like suffer through wearing, because you were like, pain equals pleasure, right? If I'm not hurting, I'm not doing it enough.
I'm not having
You
enough
guys
fun.
have learned the balance of like, you don't need to kill yourself to get this achieved. But now the pendulum, I don't want it to swing the other way where it's like, but it should always be fun and easy. And you're like, no, that's not what we're talking about.
No, I mean, yeah, you gotta wear the 6-inch heels, and you're not in the VIP, you're on the dance floor. I mean, what else? You're not wearing, like, I feel like sneakers. Okay, we were wearing tight ass dresses.
The bondage.
I mean, like you had to suck
They're
in
back,
all
guys.
night.
Of course they are.
So of course, yeah.
Everything's back. I tell you, our millennials. We did it.
We're back.
We're relevant.
Millennials are so back now.
So back.
It's more about like, I see it every day where it breaks my heart. Either people are staying way too long and trying to make something last that you're like, yo, this guy's not calling you back. Get the fucking hint, man.
Yeah.
Or every little thing of like, well, they didn't. I have girls that will literally say, he didn't text me back in 2 hours. I blocked him. And you're like, yo, are you good?
Yeah, that's a little insane.
Right? Like, are you good? And it's me just asking, like, has anyone asked you if you're okay? And I don't mean that to be condescending, but maybe somebody needs to ask, like, what's coming up for you that this immediacy of, I don't like it, get gone?
Are they used to guys that don't have jobs?
That's the $1 million question.
Well, to be really fair to my generation too, like I just feel like the internet has oversaturated us with so much
I agree with
information.
that. Yeah.
And we just have all and let's be honest, our algorithms, and this is why I love knowing what's behind our social media, is just telling us what we want to hear. So if you want to believe that the avoidant guy you've been chasing is going to come back, quote unquote, you will be
fed that.
You'll be fed that on the internet. You're gonna be, it's gonna be some tarot reading, and she's gonna be like, I'm claiming for you that the guy is gonna come back. And then the next topic is gonna be some girl that's like, if you play the cat game and the cat and dog game and you just like sit in your feminine energy, I'm triggering you on purpose. I know you'll hate this. If you sit in your feminine energy and just wait for him, he'll come back. But it's when you're like actually moved on. Like there's all this shit, and you can just end up in your own feedback loop of just informing whatever like core triggers that, and and then you can't move on and you can't heal, and it makes me so sad because I just feel like girls are and everyone.
It's true. I think it's 100% valid.
Yeah, and it's just sad, and I see my friends do it, and then I see my friends posting TikToks of their own, and like I don't know. I do feel bad for my generation because like what are we supposed to do? We look for information, and unfortunately we find the only information that's not going to help us get further.
Oh, I think I feel bad for anybody that's in it, and not because of, and I don't think anyone's good or bad. It's shitty the cards you were dealt. You came out of the womb with a phone in your hand. Like, that's why even OpenAI, ChatGPT, the founder came out and was like, wait, you guys are using this for therapy?
Oh, I actually really like him.
I like him a lot, but he was saying, so my partner Ryan went to school for psychology for test construct. So he studied the psychology of how to ask questions, what questions to ask. That's why he went into tech. That's why he enjoys that. So ChatGPT is about construct of questions. So if it takes the way you ask it, hey, this guy hasn't answered me in 3 days. Do you think he'll come back? So ChatGPT is like, of course he will, because it sees how you're asking the question, and then it feeds you the caudal loop, and it gives you back. You could ask your ChatGPT something, and I can ask mine. We'll get two different answers.
Oh, if you talk to my ChatGPT, because I've talked to it a lot, it'll answer with a bunch of sparkles and emojis because it senses that I don't know if I text like a girly girl or something, but it's figured out that it texts me exactly like my friends do, and I didn't even tell it to do that.
Right.
It's scary.
It understands because it's not the regenerative. Can I talk? You know that
we do that a lot in the show. It's like, you know what I mean.
That one, you know what I mean. That one's 5-6 years out, right? Like, we are not going to get to a place where it starts to feel like safe. That's what freaks me out about the like, oh, why don't you input all your content and have a chat box? I'm like, because you're asking if you should break up with someone, and I don't believe that my AI should tell you the answer.
That's honestly really scary. So if you're listening to this and you're asking relationship advice from an AI bot, please stop.
Please stop. Talk to a human.
What are we doing? They don't have human emotions.
No, they also don't have experience. They don't have experience to go, oh, whoa, a guy just said that to you? No, come here, that's bullshit.
They're not even a they. It's an it.
It's true.
It isn't it. You're right.
Isn't it? And that's what I mean by
You'll probably be upset about that.
I have so much empathy for every generation, right? Everybody has their stuff. But I think it's like, I see a lot of people that are Gen Z where I'm like, fuck yeah, you get it, right? Like, you get it, and you're understanding that you're like, this isn't everything. But then I see the people where I'm like, yeah, you drank the Kool-Aid, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's hard. It's okay. And you're talking about social media and this.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's hard not to. Yeah. It's hard not to get pulled in. I mean, I feel like millennials, we kind of got it on the back end, and we got so excited about it, and now we're seeing, I feel like or me in particular, I took a long break, and I really, really enjoyed that. I think a lot of my friends are just starting to kind of, it's kind of run its course for us, but to grow up with it and to be sucked in that early and not, I feel like emotionally, none of us are, or at least me, even with my age, like, I'm not emotionally grounded. Like, my emotions are everywhere, but when you're growing up and your emotions are literally everywhere, you don't know how to control them or do anything with them, and then you're just reading. I don't know. That would be, I do feel bad for your generation.
We grew up with a computer room. Right? We grew up with a computer room that meant the internet's in there, and then real life is here.
Real life.
Oh.
Right? And I see all these things of like what it was like in the 90s partying, and you see everyone present. And that's why I'm like, I feel bad. Like, I would hate to grow up in that. And that's why I'm like, you know what? I hope that as a collective, we can make choices for ourselves to say that doesn't work.
And
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's all.
I hate that we have to wrap this up, but we do want to end on some positivity, right? I am hopeful that because we know this, we'll be able to parent that in them. And also with humanity, there's always a pendulum, right? Maybe millennials and Gen Z are so online that it'll swing the other way, and it'll be like, cool to not have a phone when your daughters are 15, 16. Wouldn't that be great?
100%. I'm with you. Like,
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, because I want to just be clear. No one's good or bad for this. This is really us just talking about circumstances, right? And it's like, it's just circumstantially, it's shitty. But here we are because we get to make changes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that's a
I
good way
love
to
that
end.
Yeah. All right. So your very popular podcast, The Sabrina Zohar Show, is available across all platforms. You rebranded recently?
I had to. I got a cease and desist.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Yeah, so that was not a voluntary rebrand.
Yeah, we did that as well. And it's
rebranding's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. But we're here, and we're still going.
Tell everyone where we can find you now.
So Sabrina.Zohar on TikTok or Instagram, with The Sabrina Zohar Show, on YouTube, on all the fun, Apple, Spotify, all that. And you can hear me talk to a camera for 35 minutes if you like what I had to say.
I love it. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us. Remember to rate 5 stars, like, subscribe, YouTube. Maybe drop a comment if this episode made you feel a little something. I don't know.
And where did you feel it?
Anxious, avoidant. What color were you seeing? Disorganized or feeling maybe you feel seen. Sabrina, at the end of these, we say have a splash. And if you could say make a splash after, that would be great.
Done.
All right, ready? Have a splash.
Make a splash.
Thank you. So fun.